Hello again, I'm back and we're going to be playing with the fuel system. It's one of the things I haven't liked about this airplane. It's got that 1/4-inch rubber fuel line, comes out of the wing, runs through the baggage area, goes down underneath the door, way down there, and then it comes up and up under the panel and goes to these individual fuel shutoffs on each side. Couple things I don't like about that. One, I don't like the rubber tubing in the running through the cockpit like that. It's pretty vulnerable, you know. And if I ever had a fire, or if, you know, particularly an electrical fire underneath the panel, I've got all that fuel line hose that'll burn through real quickly. And since that's all upstream of the shutoff, I got no way to shut it off. So that's number one. And number two is the way it routes underneath the door. I've got, you know, this huge low spot all running along here with no drain, and it's a perfect place for things to accumulate. So the plan is to continue the work that I started on this side. This is the new fuel line on the right side of the airplane. It's, you know, the hard 3/8 aluminum tubing. It runs over the door so I don't get a big low spot, comes down, goes under the panel, and instead of the individual shutoffs on each side, I'm planning on a single left-right bolt off Newton SPRL valve. If I can find a good place to package it, that's going to be the challenge, is packaging. If I have to, I can, you know, put a little aluminum plate right here under the panel and under the throttle and put something there. That remains to be seen. First, I'll get the existing valves out and see if I can squeeze it in here somehow. This valve, I've tried unscrewing this lever here. That doesn't seem to want to come out. I already took the nuts off, so I'm going to disconnect it underneath and see if I can just fish it out in one piece. Okay, so here I am in my happy place underneath this stupid panel. There's the back side of the valve right here. Well, we're going to do this the easy way. Look at that. Not even tight. Oh, God. I'm flying this thing. Ta-da. Do I look like enough of a dork with the extra glasses on? Yeah. Okay, I'm just going to cut all those zip ties and get that loose. I'm going to shut the camera off for that. Okay, so the next question is, oh, can I get in here first? Yeah. Okay, does the stupid thing fit? And I got room to go outboard on the panel, on the face of the panel. Looks like I got room for fittings here. There's just some wires. If I clear, I can't really come down. The big problem is going to be that fuel gauge up there. But if I put it, okay, put it right there. Okay. I made the stick on the co-pilot side removable. That's helpful in a situation where you got to get under here. It's one less thing in the way. Okay. So there's the hole. And this is the face plate. If I put it over that hole, I don't have a lot of room. Move it over a little bit to get more room. So ideally I'd put it right there. Give me room against the fuel gauge. Okay, at that point I'm hitting the cowl, so I can't go quite that far. I can go there. Okay, make it right adjacent to that hole, and I can come down all I want. So if I put it, so let's mark the face where I need that, and I can fit as long as I don't go too far to the outboard. I'll be okay. Okay, I got some blue tape there so I can mark this and see the mark. But if I move it over about right to the edge of that, it gives me lots of vertical clearance. I'll split the difference here, and then I'll take the marker when I set the camera down and put a line around that inside hole on the tape so I can see it. You know, putting a mark on the black panel doesn't do me much good. So. Okay, this becomes the point of no return here. Okay, for better or worse, that's where it's going. Double checking here. That looks good. I've got tape behind it so I can get that straight. Mark those holes with the marker. I got just one screw holding it, and I'll drill those 3 holes, and I'll get that mounted, and probably can put Loctite on those screws, and yeah, because that's you know, essentially the big piece here that has to fit. And once I've got that in, hoses I can route just about anywhere. So we'll get this nailed down, and then we'll go from there. So here I am in my happy place again. I keep telling myself that. Okay. There's the screw. You probably can't see it, and I just dropped the washer. Fortunately, I bought spares. The nice thing about tail draggers, anytime you drop anything, it slides back someplace inaccessible, never ever to be seen again. And so you don't have to worry about going and looking for it, because you'll never find it. I'm sure you're getting a great shot of my elbow there, right? Okay. one started. This is a wire for the cigarette lighter. Was it probably 16, 18 gauge, if that? So you're not going to you're not going to plug a cigarette lighter into that socket. Okay, another screw. There's a screw. Get in here with oh. I'm putting the face plate on first, and then I can screw the valve body on from in front. This should go in here. Oh yeah. Okay. They've almost made this idiot proof. Everything only goes together one way. So there's always somebody who'll figure out a way to misassemble it, I'm sure. It seems like a nicely engineered valve. So there's that. I'll put it, heck, I'll put the rest of the things on. With no light behind it, you won't see that. I think that was originally a starter button, if memory serves me correct, but I could be senile, I don't remember. Okay. I have a plastic washer here. And this is D-shaped, so it only goes on one way. There's a spring. And selector knob. Before I get to that, put a drop of Loctite on the screw. Okay, off. See if it works. Right, full, left, off. Feels good. Must be good. Okay, the other big piece that needs to be dealt with is this gasculator. That's got to come off because the fitting inside is right now actually looks kind of homemade, made up for those 1/4-inch hoses, and I need a AN6 fitting on the other side, so let's get this out of the way. Make a tool that'll hook the hose and pull it right off. One of these days, I'll buy one. Save me a busted knuckle or two. So when I took the right-hand wing off, if you saw my video about recovering, that was a left-hand wing. I just did this. This year, last year I took the left-hand wing off because the fuel tank seam had split. And when I had done that, I replaced the rubber hose with the aluminum tube up to this point under the firewall. So now all I need to do is discombobulate this, and then I can run aluminum from here over to this is on the passenger side, the right side, so I can run aluminum under the firewall here over to my new fuel selector. And I gotta cut that tie, and that will be the last of the disassembly. Yay! At least for this fuel line project. That's out of there. This tube here has got a bracket on the end of some kind. I assume it was set up probably or intended something to do with throttle control, but hasn't been used. You know, it's just a tube here, and I got radios mounted to it. The throttle is mounted here to it. The cable is a support, so it's obviously not being used the way it was originally intended. But I don't know if the intent was to have two throttles, one or what. But anyhow, there's the thing about kits. You don't always know what it was intended for, this sort of thing. Okay, so anyhow, I've got that in there. So I'll run a hose across. I'll probably brace it on these cross members here, or somewhere maybe up here will work. I don't know. And we'll get it over the other selector. Okay, at this point, all of the original fuel system from the fuel tanks all the way through to the gascolator. Now, all the original stuff has been removed. You saw me put the new fuel selector in. I've got fuel lines running from the fuel tank down under the panel on the right side. On the left side, I've got new fuel lines running from the tank to the root rib on the wing. And now what I need to do is bring it through here and route it under the panel. And when I get under the panel, I'll be able to connect everything together. So the first thing is I have to find where to poke a hole in my fabric to line up exactly, and I do mean exactly, with this fitting. And I can feel the fitting on the outside as I I'm going to make a small hole there and see if I line up first before I get too excited. Now, in an ideal world, I'd have a second layer of cloth there, but this is you know, there's aluminum on the other side of this. It's inside between the root rib and fuselage. There's no aerodynamic forces there at all. I don't feel too bad. Okay. Let's see how square that is. The hole needs to go forward. That's some serious soldering gun abuse, or soldering iron abuse. Okay, so now the stick is sticking into the fitting in the wing. The stick is sticking in the fitting. It looks reasonably square. I need to get this on it, so or get this through it. So basically, there's the hole I need. And by melting, it's not going to ravel. The fabric is not going to ravel because we've got essentially Dacron fused to Dacron. Okay. Let's get some tube. So here's the plan. If the butt rib runs, the root rib runs right along here, and I have the fitting, my AN fitting right there, I want to come from the AN fitting in through the fabric. I'm going to come out, you know, it's just too difficult to try and bend right there and get that tight bend to get the holes right. So I'm going to let it come in about 5 inches, make a U-turn, and then bend it here, and this will be about 2 inches from there to there. So that will give me a shape that will fit nicely against the fuselage tubing. This extra little bend gives me some wiggle room, quite frankly. You know, if it's hard to measure exactly in there, you're measuring the fabric and this and that and round tubes. So I can bend this out a little bit if it's too far, or I can open it up. You know, I can tighten these bends up if I need to move it closer. So it gives me some adjustment, and in the event something bad goes on, there's tubing that can bend and flex a little bit before it breaks. So that's the plan. Step 1 is to flare the end of the tubing. Before I flare it, I've deburred it. I'll put this nut on, make sure I put it on the right way. There's a ferrule that goes on. Again, make sure you put it on the right way. And I can slide that back a ways out of my way. Flaring tool from Aircraft Tool Supply. It has different settings for different size tubing. And there it is. There's numbers on it. They're on the back. Okay, so I'm going to set that back to 3/8 to match what I have. There's the light's not very good, I'm sorry. The flaring cone that you screw down to flare the tube. And when I open this up, right here you can see this piece here. When I pull this out, that's a stop for the tubing. So I'll slide the tubing in till it's against that. Oops, it's not against the stop. Slide it in so it's against the stop, and I can close it and make sure. Kind of awkward to hold everything here. And okay, I can close this and tighten that screw, and it locks that tube into place. And it's just a matter of screwing this in. I put a little lube on it, and it's flaring, and right there it just bottomed out. You don't have to go all gorilla on it. Just once it stops, it stops. Turn it back. Loosen that up. Things open up, and there I've got my flare. Yep, I did it right. I got the little, little bit of a chunk of wood there. Okay, so that's the appropriate angle for the AN fitting, whatever that angle is. I got that tool from Aircraft Tool Supply. This is a bender that I got from Harbor Freight. It will handle up to the 3/8 tubing, the for AN6. Works. So 5 inches. So I'm going to come. If memory serves me correct. I'm going to tube about 2.5 inches. So I'm going to come up 2.5. I will put I hope you guys are laughing at me. Okay, so I'll put my 2.5 inch mark there and just bend this around, not quite 180 degrees, about there, a little bit more. That's good. And then what I can do is find my tape measure, find my marker. I want to come back 3 inches. So I'll end up there, but I want this to be, I go 1.5 inches. Right there. So from about that mark, and I bend it, it should come out pretty close. And by adjusting these just a little bit, I can make the adjustments I need. I put that on my mark. Line it up so it's relatively parallel here. Scooch up there a little bit. Now I'm going to bend it till I'm perpendicular to my original. I went too far. Stuff is really soft. Okay. Okay, so that should be reasonably close. And again, we can play with it. So I'm going to put this through the hole and I want to make sure it's at least finger tight on that flare fitting. So it's in position. There we go. Okay, so that's there. A little bit closer to the edge than I wanted, but I'm going to let that slide. Get it off of that so it's not touching. I want to come underneath this. And Okay, these two sides are different. I got to clamp to this tube on the other side. Got an option on this side. I'll have to figure something out there. So I can straighten my tubing out. At some point, I want it to run down here on the other side of this, and then penetrate the instrument panel. Okay, well, you guys are goofing off. I put the new bulkhead fitting in here for the gasculator. It's got a AN6 fitting on the other side, pipe threads on this side, 1/4 inch I believe. Yeah, 1/4 inch. The AN6 3/8 tubing, by the way, that's an outside diameter of 3/8. Inside diameter is about the same as a 1/4 inch tube. I'll put a little bit of this 3M 560, the Loctite 567, I'm sorry. It's that's more than I need. So I'll put some more on. What the heck, right? That's too much. Put on more. Okay. This should screw on. I removed the old fitting off camera. No big deal, just clamp it in the vise and attack it. I don't want to go another turn, that's getting tight, hand tight. I'm just going to turn enough to level it and count on the Loctite to actually seal it up nicely for me, which it should. It does a good job. Careful where I grip it. Not on my better place. Okay, that looks pretty level. We can be good there. There's my hole, and maybe get some safety wire. Those of you who actually know what you're doing should be able to explain to me what I've done wrong, right? And that light is terrible. Get that out of the way. It's not the prettiest, pretty crappy. I might do that over. Okay, at this point I've got the tube finger tighted on the back, runs along. I got the bend there, comes down. I'm going to drill a hole in the panel right in here, and then mark this tube and bend it to go in and cut it to the length that I need it. And then I'll install the grommet, fish the tube through and bend it. Okay, so I got this thing coming in from the fuel tank, and put the fittings on it. I'm going to attempt to flare it in position there. This goes this way. Slide those on. There's a grommet here where it comes through. If I can get the tool in here, I can flare it, and then I can make another piece. Makes the U-turn, goes back to fitting right here. That's the plan. Batteries in the camera went dead, so you missed me putting the flare on that. You know, that was real exciting. But you know, and that's why this sticks in so long. I needed it back here so I could get to it. Having done that, I've also, okay, so we'll see if this fits. That goes there, and that is almost there. So I'm off by, you probably can't see it, my hand's in the way, off by about 1/4 of an inch, but that we should be able to. Just a little tweak there. I don't know what this is for. Doesn't have one on the other side. Just noticed that while I was laying here getting comfortable, or as comfortable as it gets. That goes there. That goes there. That's not bad. Hand in here somehow. There we go. Probably not the best video in the world. I gotta get in here. Flare is just a skosh too long. It should be okay. It's a little bit tight. But okay, now start the other side. Okay, that one started. This one, get it straight. Start on this fitting, we'll be all set. Go. Okay, where do I put the wrenches? Shouldn't have gone too far. Okay. next one, I'm going to get from this fitting to the fitting up there on the firewall. I think I'll do a Z shape. Let's see what I got for dimensions. A little bit too long. I gotta get it into here. Yeah, that works. Okay. So, we're looking at 5 inches center to center, and let's see, that's an inch, and if I go I'm going to measure to this way because it's more measure to that because it's more convenient. That's 12 plus 1 is 13, so 13 inches overall length with a 5-inch zig in the middle. I'll bend that up outside and we'll see what happens. Okay, so I need 13 inches. 13 inches, and it takes me across here, and this should be 5 inches offset, just for giggles. It's pretty close. That's where I'm going to cut it. And there it should be, the perfect part. We'll see. Okay. My arm in here. There we go. Okay, so I'm off just a little tweak there, a little tweak there. Now I have achieved perfection. Okay, so between camera batteries and I lost power in the hangar here for a while. A lot happened, it wasn't on film. But there's the back side of the valve with all the fittings connected. Outlets on the top, furthest from the camera. Right and left are on the sides. And there's where I splice the line coming in from the wing into the line going to the valve. It loops back and attaches. It's clamped there so it doesn't wiggle. You can kind of trace it back here if I'm careful. right down the middle of the screen. You can see the, oh, it's disappearing behind that fitting. And the tank outlet goes up and over and up into here, and I got the you can't see it. Anyhow, it goes to that bulkhead fitting through the firewall. This wire is this one here is the line going to the other side. It clamps to the tubes there, so it's not going to flex, and it just goes over to the left, and I'm not going to try and get over there with the camera standing on my head here. So that, I think, wraps it up under the panel. A couple more you know, things like this up above to hold it in place, and then the fuel system should be okay. I did put a couple gallons in each tank. Doesn't seem to be leaking, so that's a good thing. So if you found this at all interesting, again, let me know. Put something in the comments, or, you know, thumbs up if you want, whatever. Comment is fine. And when things like this come up, I'll tape them. If nobody seems interested, then I guess I won't bother. But you let me know. Bye.